Hi, Megan. Thank you so much for your critique. It was really exceeded my expectations. I've never had this kind of like peer evaluation in a class or anything, and I don't know if it was you, but you like went above and beyond. And it's like I was gonna have my mom edit my paper, and then I realized this was like, yeah, you were very helpful. So thank you. The first thing you brought up was a Democracy Now! Podcast that you had recently listened to, and I had not heard about this story, and I like Democracy Now! A lot. So I looked it up and I watched the video, which was crazy, and I just think that that's another really great example of how, especially in the Middle East, that these conflicts can, like, anything can spark them, like the craziest things. But yeah, so, and it also shows this I saw an interview, I'm not sure if it's the same one that you listened to, of a Moroccan activist and filmmaker, and he was saying that nobody in this region of Rif in Morocco believes that the state is truly going to investigate this incident, and I guess like everyone, they always just sweep these types of things under the rug. And he also talked about relating environmental injustice to class issues in Morocco, saying that everybody believes that the state's going to try to greenwash this issue. And I don't know, I think that's also like a new and interesting side of one of these movements, and I think it's really, really cool. So I'm glad that you brought that story into my attention. It seems like this thing's like really about to kick off, which it'll be interesting to see how this progresses. Your main kind of critique of my paper was that I was summarizing way too much, and not you didn't say way too much, sorry. That's what I think after I like kept rereading it. I was like, wow, she's so right. Sorry, my computer's about to die. But yeah, that last semester I was in a class where I had to write a ton of papers. It was a political science class, of course. And my professors would always say like way too much exposition. You need to analyze more. So this is definitely a reoccurring thing for me, but I'm glad you brought that up. I think as I go forward with this, I'm going to focus way more about those contemporary connections that you were talking about, which brings these three big movements, which kind of like ties them all together. So one of those contemporary connections you talked about was something that you were talking about with your students about how presidential campaigns have kind of shifted over the years, and how social media, and especially in this last campaign, can play such a heavy role in the success or failure of a campaign. I think that's a good contemporary connection to tie all of my events together like this, or I mean not necessarily tie those events together, but Twitter and stuff like that can extend the democratic dialogue, which is kind of what all this change and stuff is about. So I think that like social media provides everyone an equal voice, and yeah, that can be very like play a critical role in presidential campaigns. Let's see. We also just a side note. You mentioned the citations. I think, Professor Kiersey commented and said that we are doing the Harvard citations, which is good for me because footnotes can be very time consuming. But yeah, overall, like the material that you gave me was so helpful. Really exceeded my expectations. Also, Professor Kiersey, if you're watching this has helped me so much. I mean, I hope my scatterbrained thoughts helped you. But thank you.